Howdy guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to try a slightly different style of video. I've got a car to go and pick up from a trader that I quite often buy cars from, and I thought I'd bring you guys along to see if it was something that interested you. So we're going to leave the dogs in the showroom. They're going to guard the place, obviously, and then Sophie's going to come down with me. And yeah, I'm not going to tell you what we've got until you see it. Okay, I'm in it now, and I'm a fan. So, this is it. This is what I picked up today. A Porsche Panamera. This is the 3-litre V6 diesel version. It's actually the lower horsepower one, which I haven't had before. I've had a handful of these Panameras, including both the diesel and also the petrol hybrid. I think the only one that I haven't had is the big V8 one, which by all accounts is a tremendous car. But I love them. I really am a big fan of these Porsche Panameras. You do get the sense that you're driving a Porsche, but you've also got the sensibility of what is a great everyday car. So when I say it's the lower horsepower one, this one's a 3-litre V6 turbo diesel producing 250 brake horsepower, or 250 PS, it's the same thing. And that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a slowpoke, because it's far from it. You know, it's a reactive car. You can put your foot down and you still get a good old pull from the Porsche. And what I've noticed on all the Porsches that I've driven realistically is, unless you've got the optional extra of like a power steering plus or whatever they call it, it's relatively heavy steering. This one does have that extra, so it feels almost more ordinary, as against with a couple of Porsches I've had that haven't had that option extra. It's supposedly giving you more of like a race car feel, but you've only got to look at the badge to kind of feel that, and I really like that about these cars. So it's a 2013 63 plate. It is the first of this era of the Porsche Panamera. It's done 99,000 miles, so a smidge under 100,000 miles, which for the age of car, as we sit in it today, that's really not too bad. And for a lumpy diesel, not concerned by the mileage at all. It's got a cracking service history all the way through. It's been maintained with Porsche and Porsche Specialist, and had quite a few relatively big bills. Nothing horrendous, but obviously, being the manufacturer of Porsche, you have to allow that they are going to charge you more for the parts, and if you take it to a specialist, they're going to be a bit more expensive than your everyday garage. But I always recommend taking it to a specialist, which this person has, or the previous people have. It's really a pleasant place to be. It's a bit of an odd spec on this one. I wouldn't be too surprised if it was a demonstrator to begin with. I haven't seen another one in this colour. I had a quick scroll through Auto Trader over the last couple of days, and I can't find another Porsche Panamera in this kind of, I don't know, it's a darker red. There's one that's a real bright red, but this one isn't. It's a very nice metallic, not too in your face type colour. It's got the black interior, which I think is the right interior colour to have when you have an outlandish, if you like, exterior colour. People like to play it safe, and they get the black interior, but it works. The red and black definitely works. A few of the extras that it has, It's got the ventilated front seats as well as the heated front seats, electric sports memory seats as well. Got the keyless ignition and the keyless entry, so I've actually got the keys in my pocket after we've just fueled up there, so you know they're not in on the dashboard, which is a nice thing to have. But yeah, it's got a few extras. It's got the satellite navigation, it's got the upgraded Bluetooth telephone communications, they call it, which obviously nowadays everything comes with Bluetooth, but we are talking about 2013. So this has got that, which means you can also stream your audio through it as well, which is quite nice to have. Keeps it nice and modern. Got the dual climate control. I love the layout in these cars. I've always said in my videos, I'm a fan of buttons. I like physical buttons that you can press and touch to change things. This might be a bit overkill. It is a lot of buttons down here, but just you feel like you're in a bit of a spaceship. You feel like you're in something that isn't your ordinary car, and I think that's great. I think that's a big part of it, a part of owning a Porsche of this era, is that you do get all the tech and there's a button for it somewhere, so so I quite like that fact as well. It's ever so comfortable. You can get them with the adaptable suspension. This one doesn't have it, but the adaptable suspension is quite a nice feature, and it changes between comfort and sport and things like that. This is almost like a middle ground between the two. So with the adaptable suspension, when you're in comfort, it's a bit softer than this, and then obviously when you put it into sport, it's a bit more sporty than this. This is a nice medium ground. I mean, at the end of the day, the way I see this car, it's a fantastic daily commuter car, with the ability to be sporty as and when you want it to be. It's also got the white dials, and I think that's a bit of a throwback to previous Porsches maybe, but I really quite like it. It's got the upgraded headlights, which have got like these 4 prongs. They still use those today within the headlights, which are quite cool. And again, I think it makes this one more relevant to today's Porsches. I think what I really love about these cars is the value of them. So this one I think is going to be around 18,000, maybe less, at 17.5, something like that. And I think it's a huge amount of car for that money, especially with the upgrades that it has. Like any manufacturer, especially the German ones, or in particular the German ones, everything is additional extra, and I think this has got something. It's well into 20s on the boxes ticked for additionals, so quite cool really, which again is another indication as to why I maybe think that it is a demonstrator, or was a demonstrator, started life as a demonstrator. But yeah, it's just, I may be biased, but who isn't biased towards a Porsche? I think that's the big thing about them. You've got great practicality. You've got the 4 seats with the 4 doors, and there's plenty of room. You know, I'm not the tallest of blokes, but you can sit behind me with ease of leg room, which is quite nice. And it's just a pleasant place to be. It's got the upgraded Bose sound system, which again is great, and with that Bluetooth audio streaming, which every car has these days, as I say, it doesn't feel like I'm driving a car that is now 11 years old, or soon to be 11 years old when it turns 11 in September. We're in April now, so it just feels ever so relevant, and just the quality of parts that they've used, nothing's worn badly, none of the buttons are flaking, none of the leather seems to be perished, the bolsters are all good on the seat. You know, it's still quite fresh faced. The only thing I would say, and I wish that they did have it as a standard thing, because again, I don't know why you wouldn't, is it doesn't have a multifunctional steering wheel, and you're so used to the controls being on the steering wheel, even for things like volume or your trip computer, but this has got nothing. I think it's part of a chrono pack, because it's got the bigger kind of paddle shifters on the back, and you've got the stalks then behind that would have your trip computers and stuff on it, but I think it's part of the chrono pack. It's meant to be more of a sporty feel to the car, which in a sports car of this era you didn't have multifunctional steering wheel. I mean, now you do. You've got everything that's on a steering wheel, and not very many buttons, and it's all screen, so it's almost gone an extreme opposite. But you know, I wish it just had the multifunctional steering wheel element, because I think that would be just a nicer, and again, keeping it more in modern times. You've got a lot of information on your dash. You've got obviously your rev counter, your speedo, oil temperature, oil pressure, coolant temperature, and then obviously your fuel gauge. But what I do love about this is this little dial here. It's got one digital dial, the rest are all analog. You've got one digital dial within the dash, of which I'm currently looking at a satellite navigation map, which is quite a nice thing. But you can use this toggle here to go through trip computers, phones, sport chrono, because it's got that sport chrono pack, your range, your audio, navigation, etc, etc. So what have we been doing? Obviously I've only just fueled up. That's another big advantage of having a Porsche, a diesel Porsche, is you get quite a sporty feel. You don't get the noise of a flat 6 or a flat 5 or anything like that. I appreciate that, but you still get a V6 diesel, which gives you plenty of performance related exhilarating of the drive, but you also get some pretty damn good economy. So it's got the stop start. I'm going to turn that off because I find it incredibly annoying. But yeah, as a diesel goes, as a commuter car, if you used to take the badge out of it, it's still a phenomenal commuter, because I know we've only done a very short journey, but I'm already into 30s on the MPG, and it's also a car that's capable of doing performance as well. The Sport Chrono clock at the top is really quite cool as well. Got a digital time obviously, and then you've also got a second hand rotating round. Just lets you know that you're in a Porsche, and Porsche is all about the performance side of it. And yeah, very, very pleased with my purchase that this is coming into stock. Obviously got to get it back to the showroom, get it all cleaned and prepped and up for sale. I am thinking about painting the roof. The roof is the same red as what this is, but with the black wheels and the black pack on the handles and stuff, I think it might look quite cool if the roof was black too. Just to kind of break it up a little bit and maybe stand out and be a little bit different. Or is it different enough being in this red? Don't know, but it's ever so comfortable. I'm going to enjoy the drive back now, and I'll catch up with you in a bit. Right, so I'm only a couple of miles or a few minutes away from my showroom now, and so we've done 60 miles, and the trip from Plymouth, well, the other side of Plymouth up to the showroom is pretty uphill consistently. We've done, as I say, about 60 miles, and we're going uphill now, but the consumption that I've averaged on this journey is 40.7, and that's a mixture of both, well, you know, the dual carriageways have been on the A roads, and then also some B roads and country lanes and stuff. So massively impressed. The car hasn't missed a beat. It's ever so comfortable, plenty of power there as and when you need it. Cruise control on, sits there as happy as Larry. And yeah, as I say, I've always been a big fan of these cars, but I thought this was an opportunity to show you a bit of stock that we've just picked up, and to also talk about the car on the way back. So as I say, I'm quite often out picking cars up, so if you enjoyed this kind of format of video, then certainly let me know, and I'll try and keep you more in keep of what we've got coming through. Even if it's like the same car again, I can show you through prep and stuff like that. But I hope that you've enjoyed the video. We're going to get this one all cleaned up and prepped, and please do follow us on all of our social medias, and like and subscribe to the channel. It really is a big help. And yeah, I hope to see you for the next one. Thank you ever so much, and I'll see you soon.